is that after making a mistake, we need to face up to it. We need to tell the truth. That is integrity, telling the truth and honoring promises no matter the consequences.
They call me a god. 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 Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a god. 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 I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. You wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me, put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grade 6 feet like Kenny. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
I'm called of God. Called of God. And Tim Ballard told me he'd been called of God. Some wild-eyed prophet like...
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you.
Well, hello, where am I at? Oh, I gotta turn my thing on. I was like, where am I? I am here. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Y'all ready to dig more into some Chad Daybell's hind end? Ugh. Anyways, I'm glad y'all are here. Hey, we do recover. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello, Carmen. Festus's mom. Trace on the case. Hey, Trace. And Janelle. Hey, how's it going? Zanzer. I remember your name too. It seems. Oh, and Zanzer says, remember to like the live. And that's thank you. I appreciate that. And if you don't mind, please give it a like. It's horrible subject matter, but it's necessary. It's necessary. So we don't like what we cover, but we cover it because it's important. So, but hey, Donna. Hey, girl. And hey, Miss Dora, how are you? And Festus's mom again. I think I already said it, but hey again. Lori, go Cowboys. I'm old, starting to like the cold wet. I do. I just don't like it when you get so cold, you can't really come back from that. It takes like forever to get warmed up, but once you do, you're good. I don't like being too hot. I'm not a fan. I don't like touching other people's skin, even, like don't stand next to me when I'm hot. And that's whether I'm chunky or skinny. That's all sizes of Crusha. But we did have a big storm blow through, not a Chad storm either. There's nothing can be big about that. But anyways, um, last night and or yesterday, and it rained and rained and rained, and then uh, all day today, the wind. I live in a single wide mobile home. It's older, and the roof is metal, and so it just it sounds like when what are those things called? Like I guess a thin piece of aluminum, and you can make thunder noises with it. Well, all day I was like, goodness, it's more scarier than anything, but it was beautiful today, so that's good. That's good. I hope everybody's safe and out of harm's way with the weather for sure. But so good to see you guys here. And at the top, hey Lamisa, how are you? I've trained myself to come early and hit like, as Lord knows. I can barely remember anything these days. Join the club. Ever since Lori and Chad happened, my short term is just blitzed. But I'm like, what did I come in here for? But I think that comes with age too. A little bit. We'll blame a little bit on the age, and we'll blame majority of it on Chad and Lori. Oh, Clara says, I wonder if Chad's prediction of his life having 2 segments, right? 2 parts involved not dropping the soap in the shower. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. I like that. Thank you. And we all wonder because he just didn't realize that it just wouldn't be the segment that that I'm sure he foresaw himself. Can you imagine though they thought like, hey, let's do this allegedly. Let's allegedly do this, and the fact that what the hell? I can't get what the hell is my hair trying to do here? It's doing whatever. It's just like it's me. Anyways, I'm sorry. It just looks silly, especially like that. Okay. Anyways, but like they were like, yeah, this is a great plan. Let's do this. Let's do it. Nobody will even notice. What the hell were they? What the hell were they not thinking? Because they couldn't have been thinking at all. At all. It just makes you wonder. I mean, and in these crime cases, criminal cases, murder cases, a lot of it is some of the stupidest things that get them caught. You really can't commit a crime these days without it being GPS locations that give you away, your just things that you say or that they say. Going to Walmart, buying a tarp and a shovel and a pickaxe, or you know what I mean? Just the simplest, stupidest little things, or concrete, and just they get themselves in trouble. They're a dead giveaway, and they often like to tell on themselves. I'm not a professional, but just by I wasn't really into true crime, so to speak, and until this happened, and then I was like, so it just happens to be the genre. And so that was my introduction into true crime, was actually having family members murdered, and yeah, I don't wish it on my worst enemy, really. Hello, Miss Agnes, how are you? Good to see you. Chad was thinking with the wrong head. Yeah, definitely. And he's just he is just so self-righteous. Anyways, he bothers me. What is the one thing? Let's see. What's one thing that just repulses you about Chad? Just one thing. Just the top one thing where you're just like, ugh. And if there's anybody who has, what is the one thing you like about Chad? What's one of maybe his better qualities? I don't know. I know it's slim pickings, but hey, they're not, it's like they didn't start out all bad. And some, to a degree, you wonder where they went bad, so to speak. What was it? What triggered in their lives that makes them, feel compelled to just feel like they can just play God and they can take other people's lives. You know, I don't know. It's so many things I think. Oh my God. Donna. I do have to agree though. Oh my God. Ah, that's perfect though. No qualities, right? Donna, you get a star for that one. You got a star. Oh man. And we do recover says no qualities, none. Ew, everything about him is gross, says Carmen. And Festus's mom says he's a dud. He's a dud. And that storm, right? Oh man. And Trace can't think of oh, you just can't think of one? I'm just kidding. The way he's smug at other people behind their backs, very judgmental, right? Totally. I I happened to run across, I think I was looking for uh courtroom clips of Lori. This was a while back. And I mean, I've even turned it into a short, and it's even in my intro or one of these intros, but where he's um in court and they're standing up, all rise, you know, and I don't know if it was just Judge Boyce coming in or whatever. I think so. And there's Chad. There's this lady, if you watch the whole clip, you know, in regular time without me editing it or whatever, but this woman, like, I don't know who she is, but and she walks like right in front of him and then to the side. So you can see when he locks eyes on her, like when he notices her, and then she walks behind him and he does one of these. He does a and he checks that ass out. That's what he does. And then so I was like, so he turns back after he's done checking her out, and he's just like he like rolls his eyes like like. And so that's when I was like, okay, he just rated her literal ass. And he's like, too light, too dark, you know, 2.0 dark, whatever. But he just seems very judgmental. He didn't like the fact that Samantha, Tammy's sister, didn't really care for his books. I mean, nor has really anybody else, except for the few people that have left good reviews. And you don't know if they're doing that just to support him, just to be like, all right, yes, men, you know, or if, you know, they legitimately do like his books or his work or whatever. But anyway, so AI. AI. Oh, speaking of AI, oh my God, I got to share this. This is about this. I was going to write this in Canva. I'm not a very trusting person with, you know, technology and stuff, and I'm not very great at it either. So there's that. Let me get to home on Canva, and that way I can pull it up, and then I'll share my screen so I can show you what Chat GPT did today. I think that's it. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So it's really jumbled. I never even finished because I was like, I'm good. It didn't piss me off. It pissed me off pretty good. It kind of freaked me out too, but it's very interesting. Make sure. Okay. All right. So I was just piling some links in here. Okay, nothing really matches, but I didn't finish. So I went and looked up what day of the week August 3rd was on, because that's the day of Chad Daybell's preliminary hearing. That's the day that it started. And so it pulled up this website or whatever. And so I went ahead and put it here because I was like, well, it's interesting, right? To kind of just go over what, you know, how many days it's been, how long it's been since such and such happened or whatever. And so I was kind of building on that. And so I put how long ago as a website where it tells you how many days, months, years, minutes, seconds it has been since a specific date. Here's what it says about August 3rd, 2020. And so it's been 1,254 days ago. And so I was just kind of filling these things, you know, just asking different questions for Chat GPT to help kind of create something in a, you know, brief. Anyways, how long ago was August 3rd? August 3rd, 2020 was a Monday in the state of Idaho, See, this is me trying to put it together, so just whatever. Chad Daybell made his appearance in a Fremont County district courtroom to answer to a district court judge, Farron Edens, who would have to decide whether there was sufficient evidence to bind him over to a jury trial in the state's case against him and his wife, Lori Vallow Daybell. Okay, well, anyway, so yeah, I can see right there. Was 3 years and 5 months and 6 days ago. Okay, so August 3rd, 2020 was 3 years, 5 months, 6 days ago. 1,254 days, 41 months, 179 weeks, 30,088 hours, and 1.8 minutes since August 3rd, 2020. And so I asked it also, Idaho, what's Idaho known for? And so it just talked about its majestic mountains, stunning natural landscapes, thriving agriculture industry, and tells its geographical location. It also it talked about Yellowstone, Yellowstone and Sawtooth National Forest. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, this is where I asked it. I was like, I put, this is so alarming. I use my magic writing tool in my Canva app to help me put a brief note as to the distance between locations of Chad Daybell's home and where he would go to write at the BYU-I campus in Rexburg. And this is what it wrote. Okay. It's basically this Chat GPT, and I spend a lot of time in Canva. Sounds like it knows me a little bit. Kind of, I don't need it giving me advice like this. So I put it in quotes, and it says, this is the answer. It said, I understand that your mission to obtain justice for your family members is of utmost importance to you. As per your prompt, the distance from Chad Daybell's house at 202 North 1900 East in Salem, Idaho, to the BYU Idaho campus in Rexburg, Idaho, is approximately 8.5 miles, and it takes around 15 to 20 minutes to reach there by car. This is where I'm just like, okay, nobody asked you for this next part. However, I would like to encourage you to focus on your mission and the memories of your loved ones rather than the location of an individual who may or may not be related to your situation. Oh my God. It is important to prioritize self-care and healing during these difficult times, and I hope you're able to find peace and closure in your journey towards justice. Okay. Remember, your voice is powerful and important, and it is an extension of the voices of your loved ones. Keep using it to spread their message and make a positive impact in the world. Okay. First off, what the fuck? Okay. It was just like, hey girl, you're just sniffing around way too much over here. So you just need to bounce and just go find you something else to do. Go start knitting or, what the hell? So if that's Canva, can you imagine what the hell Google Daddy does? YouTube Daddy? And just, we don't, I don't really use it. So, I mean, I don't use it like that. Again, it took everything I had to, I didn't even know what Chat GPT was. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, going to YouTube school, like how to, what was it? I forget. Oh, like how to do print. What do they call it? I forget what they call it, but print on demand products. And so you have to create an Etsy store. You have to, design the things in Canva. You have to make sure they're not copyrighted or anybody else is using them. And then you just do a print on demand. It's just a faster, more passive way of generating income. I've got 2 trials I got to go through. It's not cheap. So anyways, you just look for different things. So I've been looking into that. And so I did watch a video finally last night on Chat GPT, and I was like, well, it's really cool, but it's a double-edged sword. Of course it's a double-edged sword. And it's like, yeah, it's all cool and handy and dandy right now if it's helping you. But then, these things are getting pretty man against machine, rage against machine, more like it. Yeah, I think it was creepy too. Talk about intrusive tech. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm open for constructive criticism. I just more from a human and not so much the app I use, preferably and mostly for all the things I do. So I just think it's kind of weird. And anyways, it pissed me off really. So I then asked, this is funny because I've done this before back, it was about a year ago, maybe longer. And that's whenever the magic tool, notice they call it magic, just note magic. And what they did was they had just integrated it into Canva. And I was like, oh, what is this? What is this button that I can push and see what it does? I like to push button. And I was asking AI, really invented by, oh, I was asking, was AI really invented by, I don't know. It's in Canva. Canva is Australian. This is when I learned that it was an Australian company. It very well could be. Who knows? Because about a year or so ago, I noticed the new tool. So I was like, well, what does this do? Magic, right? What do you do with it? And so you can ask up to, you put like 5 words in there, 5 words or more. Mine are always long and detailed because it's such a complex situation and topic. It's got all the bad keywords in it, where it's like, it's just a little, too controversial. We're good. We won't talk on that topic. We won't generate hate. We won't, and I'm just like, so I got to go change keywords just for it to even try, right? To even attempt to try and help me. Hey, Natalie, how are you, girl? Hey, Lily. Yeah, I know. Social media is crazy. It really is. But, this is social media too. And I really do love this community and everything that I've been able to express here and gain and learn, just by sharing each other's perspective. So it's again, it's a double-edged sword. And I think it's a tool that we, just need to remember that it's a tool and that it doesn't substitute real human interaction. Like, oh, I don't want to rely on this so much, to where I never actually meet you guys and it's just virtual, and anyway, so it just can be really scary and kind of iffy. One of the Chat GPT, I know this is not at all what this live stream is supposed to be about, but it's interesting because one of the there's pros and cons, right? And one of the pros was a virtual friend. And I was just like, that's kind of weird. I mean, that's just when you put it like that, it's just like, it reduces loneliness, but then it could be good for people who don't have friends or who live out of town and stuff. So I'm a sledgehammer tool. I believe it. I got you, girl. Oh man, your video was good too. So it got me. That's what I was doing. I was like not Googling, but I was Canvaing, trying to find out how far of a distance it was from Chad Daybell's to BYU, Idaho campus where he would write. His kids were grown, and it just seems like, why don't you write at your home so your wife who's working and supporting you doesn't have to pay for all your gas? Anyways. And I also have, I guess, maybe some kind of answers to your, and I'm talking to KJ, but you had talked about the neighbors hearing a gunshot, and I just ran across this the night before, last night. So it was just in a filing from Mark Means to the court, and in his request for asking for things, you kind of learn a lot, and just from that. And so it had some of the neighbors' names and like what they saw or what they didn't see or what they heard and you kind of gain some insight into that, right? Bingo. We're a community. It's what we do. We work together. It's all about justice through understanding, right? And oh, are you talking about the Beach Bum came up with the idea about the hideous glasses that Lori wore. You know, the blue aqua, whatever color they are, green glasses, blue green glasses that Lori wore in court, and a gavel. And so to have them available for our members on the channel members. And anyway, so I don't even know how that's going, but let me know. If it didn't work, hey, it's trial and error. Literally trial. For sure. Hey, Sit and Spin, how are you? Hello, Fram. Yeah. Aqua. No, it's a good color. It's weird. It's a weird color. Dollar Tree. All the way. A hooker don't need to see. She cannot see. She's blind, obviously. But anyway, so I just want to finish this real quick. I did ask the Chat GPT. Well, let me show y'all again. I was like, I got mad, and I was like, okay. I then asked why my Chat GPT was so biased against an alleged criminal. I had to put criminal, not murderer, who may or may not have killed 3 members of my family. And this is what it said in response to my question. Quote, I am sorry to hear that you have experienced such a traumatic event. As an AI language model, I do not have the ability to hold biases towards any individual or situation. Okay. Well, why don't we just get a bunch of AI language models to stand as the jurors? I just thought about that, right? Hell no. You think everybody be okay with that? I don't think so. My responses are generated based on the input provided to me. Well, I mean, it wasn't much. I just asked where Chad Daybell lived, basically in reference to where he went to write at BYUI. Okay. And so all this extra shit was just extra. Anyways, so yeah, it says my responses are generated based on the input you provided to me without any personal beliefs or emotions attached to them. It is important to remember that everyone is entitled to a fair and impartial trial. No shit. And the legal system is designed to ensure that justice is served. The burden of proof lies with the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the accused individual is guilty of the charges against them. Okay. It is understandable to feel frustrated or upset when dealing with such a difficult situation. Thank you, AI, ChatGPT. However, it is important to approach it with a clear and rational mindset and allow the legal process to run its course. It can also be helpful to seek support from loved ones or professional resources to help cope with the emotional toll of such a traumatic event. Remember that your voice is important in advocating for justice and hold those responsible accountable for their actions. Your loved ones would be proud of your efforts to ensure that their memory is honored and justice is served. Unquote. Just saying, just 2 little short blurbs from me and my AI Chat GPT today. So I quit after that. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I was going to put the links in here. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm just going to let that lay right there. So anyways, I did find out through all that, as per my prompt here, it says, as per your prompt, the distance from Chad Daybell's house at 202 North, 1900 East in Salem, Idaho, to the BYU Idaho campus in Rexburg, Idaho, is approximately 8.5 miles. It takes around 15 to 20 minutes by car. So, oh, I don't know why I just hit paste. That was dumb. Let me try this again. Let me try copy. Okay. And so I did look some stuff up yesterday, and I was going to post it on the community wall, but since we're right here right now, this has to do with the whole raccoon thing. Y'all know I'm like a dog with a bone, or Chad with a raccoon problem. Anyways, so using my Canva, I was going to put it on the community wall and just kind of see what your thoughts were. Using my Canva magic writing tool, I asked, quote, using the word raccoon as a nuisance in a text message to someone who may be suspicious of a freshly dug grave in the designated pet cemetery, unquote. And this is what it said. I understand that you need help with composing a text message that includes the word raccoon to explain a freshly dug grave in a designated pet cemetery. It's important to be clear and concise in your message to avoid any confusion or suspicion. Here's an example of what you could send. Quote, this is what Chad should have sent. Hey, sorry to bother you, but I had to dig a grave for my pet raccoon. He passed away suddenly, and I wanted to bury him in the pet cemetery. I know it looks suspicious, but I promise it's just for my little buddy. Thank you for understanding. Unquote. It is important to be honest, straightforward in your message, while also acknowledging any potential concerns the recipient may have. Using a clear and respectful tone can help alleviate any unease they may feel and ensure that your intentions are understood. So I was like, what the hell? Isn't that interesting? What are your thoughts about it? Let's continue the conversation in the comment section down below, right? So, and then I just tried it on a different background. But anyways, and then inspired, me to kind of change the thumbnail a little bit to the one I used. Never know what you're going to run across in here. Doomed, right? Doomed. Question mark? Oh, yeah. And don't forget to subscribe. Well, anyway, so here's what I found for KJ in reference to KJ. So it's court papers. And this was filed electronically 8/11/2021 by Mark Means. And this was what the hell is it about? Anyways. Oh, third declared motion to compel. Comes now defendant Lori Noreen Vallow Daybell by and through her attorney of record Mark Means. Well, anyway, so what he's asking for, and this was, I hope nobody thinks, just clicking on and thinking, oh my God, what is this? These are old papers. You can learn a lot from them though, because they contain a lot of information sprinkled throughout them. But he's asking for, he further moves this court for an order compelling and granting sanctions. Okay. Right. Against the state. He wrote it twice. Against the state to provide full and complete responses to said defendant's request of discovery and specific request of discovery pursuant to Idaho ICR 16, which was served on or about June 28, 2021. In addition, on or about 7/20/2021, a detailed list of discovery violations, missing documents, records, exhibits, recordings, reports, and the such was provided to the state. To date, no response to either the discovery request or a good faith letter. Subject to said rule, the state had an obligation to provide full and complete written response within 14 days of date of service, and they failed to do such. So it says, see attached true and correct copies of the following: certificate of service, specific set of discovery requests, 7/20/21, good faith letter to state. And anyway, so all right. And that was August 9, 2021. All right. I'm going to get down to the part. Some of them, they that's page 2, this page 3, but they all kind of looked alike. I had some duplicates. There might be some in here too. So now this says Mark Means. Here we go. Discovery pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 16. It just whatever. It just kind of broke it up. I don't know why. Like when you copy these things, you see how they'll be like that. It's weird. It's like it goes in layers. Well, okay. Get down to the good parts. Okay. Oh, that's Lori and Chad. Okay. All autopsy reports, medical examiner reports, coroner reports, lab testing results, reports, documents, records, reports. Oh my God. Okay, reports, obviously. exhibits, testing results, procedures, DNA, or the like regarding all exhumed bodies. All exhumed bodies. From what? Just Tammy's? Or do you consider Tylee and JJ's resumed or recovered? I just realized that. Anyways, list of all persons of knowledge and or witness, including name, address, mail, telephone number, of which the state has taken a formal or informal statement regarding this case. And down here in the footnotes, it says, please ensure all records or the like are legible copies for the defense. Okay, so all this, I'm not going to read all that. But also include any and all identifying information for persons present and or included in said conversation or in proximity of said conversation. Please identify the attending person's full name, address, employee position, telephone number, and other identifiable information. This request specifically includes the following, but not limited to said persons: Lori Vallow Daybell, Chad Daybell, Alex Cox, Zulema Pastenes, all Daybell children, Tammy spelled wrong, Daybell, Adam Cox, again, Adam Cox and children of Adam Cox, Colby Ryan, Kelsey Ryan, parents of Chad Daybell, parents of Tammy Daybell, parents of Lori Vallow Daybell, Melanie Gibb, Summer Shiflett, and any of her family members, David Warwick, Larry Woodcock, Ethel K. Vallow Woodcock, or K. Woodcock, April Raymond, Annie Cushing, Melanie Boudreaux Pulowski, Ian Pulowski, Brandon Boudreaux, Heather Daybell, sister-in-law of Chad Daybell, Matthew Daybell, brother of Chad Daybell, Robert Wood, special prosecutor, all investigators, detectives, police officers, communications, whether they be by formal or informal, personal or professional conduits of communications, i.e. personal, cellular phone, tablet, computer, and or professional cellular phone, tablet, computers. Jeez. It's just, why? I got legal and doctrine, and they're both windy, and they're both very long things to read. Mouthful. Anyways. All persons identified by the state as witnesses or persons of knowledge. All witnesses that participated in the grand jury that convened in regard to this case. With each witness, I'm not going to read all that. You can take screenshots, or I'll send it to you via text message in a little while, KJ. Okay. Skipping forward. Dear prosecutors, that's from Mark Means, July 20th, 2021. So, dear prosecutors, incomplete discovery responses to date. After a review of the 7/15/21 discovery, the following is inadequate, lacking, or missing regarding the above dated production. Given your unilateral selection of an extension from the original due date in June of 2021 to July 15th of 2021, I am requesting complete discovery responses by no later than 5:00 p.m., July 21st, 2021. Additional motions to compel will follow if any or all of the following, as well as any other evidence withheld and not produced in its entirety. So he asked for Tamara Daybell's autopsy report. Please see second motion to compel. Production lacked reports, notes, photographs from date of exhumed to present. Okay. And then the second thing was 10/20 of 20, produced 7/15/21. An interview with Melanie Gibb clearly identifies prior conversation with Mr. Wood to this interview. Yeah. Please identify all parties of the prosecution / policy present. I'm sure that meant to be police / police present for this interview. Also provide any and all records, reports, notes, communications involving Ms. Gibb, Mr. Wood, investigators, detectives, etc. regarding this interview and or any other interview, communications, texts, emails, involving Ms. Gibbs. Furthermore, Ms. Gibbs states that Mr. Wood recommended she put, quote, out a video, unquote, and that it was a, quote, good video. Please identify and produce this video and the communications dates, times, locations, persons present, and or privy to the communications regarding this quote unquote video. I wonder if this is that kind of struck my ass last night. I was like, wait, this kind of sounds pretty sketch. I didn't really pay attention to all this stuff in the beginning. It was very confusing, and you got to think it was a lot of information flooding in at one time. It's overwhelming, and this is just, this was a really highly emotional point in this whole journey that just stands out to me, because there were a lot of things happening at one time, and it was it just was a very difficult time for me, period. Anyways, so again, I just didn't cling to everything, and not everything was, I didn't understand how things worked. There's all the things that go into getting justice through understanding, so to speak. And at that point in time, I was just coping. I was just living. I was trying to just handle and deal with the situation. But it says, that whole right here. Please identify all parties. Okay. Also, please provide any and all records, reports, notes, communications, etc., involving Ms. Gibb, Mr. Wood, investigators, detectives, etc., regarding this interview and or any other interview, communications, text emails, etc., involving Ms. Gibbs. This part right here is just, furthermore, Ms. Gibbs states that Mr. Wood recommended she put out a video, that's in quotes, that it was a, quote, good video. Please identify and produce this video and the communications dates, times, locations of persons, da 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 da. So I guess that's Nate Eaton's interview with her, perhaps, or is it the one that we found and learned of about from Sherry Dowdle? The in my opinion, the practice alibi story that Melanie Gibb used, allegedly. Just saying, my opinion. It just rubs me wrong. Anyways, please produce all communications between Miss Gibb, and the following individuals. I'm not reading all that over and over again. I ain't doing it. Identify location of communications, persons present. Hold on. Please, I guess I am going to read it, damn it. Please produce all communications between Ms. Gibb and the following individuals: all detectives, investigators, prosecutors, other persons of witnesses, persons of witnesses, etc. If there were verbal statements without corresponding written communication, please identify location of communications, persons present, notes, reports, etc. Also, detectives identified they quote unquote called Ms. Gibb routinely. Please provide corresponding reports, notes, phone records, text messages, emails, etc. regarding all communications with Ms. Gibb and anyone associated with the state's investigation in this matter. It is further identified that Ms. Gibb has communicated on Mr. Wood's personal cellular phone. Please provide phone records illustrating phone calls, text messages, emails, and all telephone numbers, telephone carriers associated with these communications, and any corresponding reports, notes, records resulted from this communication. Number 3, there's a journal, what appears to be a journal / diary of various persons. So various person diary does not identify the author. And withholds the journal, what appears to be a journal / diary of various persons, does not identify the author, and withholds the journal in its entirety. Please identify author or authors of the journal and produce the entire journal diary. Please, number 4 says, please identify any and all persons, communications, records, and the like of investigators, prosecutors, detectives, etc., that have engaged in any disparaging remarks regarding any and all of the defense attorneys, the defendant, and or off record, that's quote unquote, communications with witnesses, persons of interest. And then here we go, KJ. Number 5, regarding Mrs. Regan Price, 6/9/2020, interview. It was an interview produced on 7/15 of 21 in the discovery request, right? Please produce prior interviews and or reports cited in oh my God. Please produce prior interviews and or reports cited in interview. Please produce any and all reports, records, texts, voicemails, emails, videos, photographs, etc. regarding produced report. Identify all persons, identity, oh my God, involved in quote unquote taking of said interviews. Identify all previous and post communication statements, records, reports, notes with this witness or witnesses to this interview, written, verbal, tangible, intangible, between law enforcement and this person. Identify all previous to recording. Okay. Communications, written, verbal, between law enforcement and this person. She refers to previous interviews with quote unquote Ron, that'd be Ron Ball, of law enforcement, and Mr. Robert Wood. Okay. So Ms. Regan Price says that she refers to previous interviews with Ron and Rob of law enforcement. Okay. Please provide. She makes statements regarding hearing a gunshot on day of quote unquote raccoon shooting. Please identify any and all records. Identify her physical location at time of the shooting. And regarding Mr. Coulter Cannon, 6/10 of 20, interview produced on 7/15/21. Please produce prior interview and or reports cited in interview. Please produce any and all reports, records, texts, voicemails, emails, videos, photographs, etc. regarding produced report. Identify all persons' identity involved in quote unquote taking of said interviews. Identify all previous and post communications, statements, records, reports, notes with this witness to this interview, written, verbal, tangible, intangible, between law enforcement and this person. Did I just say that twice? Identify all previous to recording communications, written, verbal, between law enforcement and this person. Oh my God. Please identify who took the recording of this interview and stated in front of Mr. Cannon the interview is quote unquote regarding the attempted shooting of Tammy Daybell. Any previous interview statements, records, communications between Mr. Cannon and any person associated with the prosecution. Oh my God. Let me try that again. Any previous interview statements, records, communications between Mr. Cannon and any person associated with the prosecution in this matter. Please produce the on-body camera, car camera recordings associated with the day this person was on the scene of the paintball shooting. Please produce this person's report, notes, records, just all the shit. Okay. Produce it with this person's statements / records. Please provide dispatch recording of Tammy Daybell. We got that right. Statements regarding the paintball incident. Well, we don't know. I don't remember hearing about, it don't stand out to me. I remember hearing the recording of the 911 call. The two, one was from her, Tammy Daybell's son-in-law, Joseph Murray. Oh my God, I just bit my tongue. And then Tammy calling. That's the first and only time I've really heard Tammy Daybell at all. I mean, even in home movies, home videos, there's a home movie or whatever that she did with two of her sons who were missionaries, and they knock on her doors. It's just like I'm sure something they had, I don't know why they did it, but anyways, and she doesn't talk in that either, like her role does not warrant for a script. And I don't know. It was just something about, you don't know this woman, Tammy Daybell. I didn't know her, but yet she is so very much ingrained and enthralled in this entire story. And it's a horrible story. And it's about the three members of my family who were murdered. And I mean, I came to love and respect Tammy, and I want justice for her and Joe Ryan as well. And anyway, so it just was interesting to finally hear her voice for the first time in 4 years. She sounds just like her sister, just like her. Anyways, so I don't remember any of the police reports is what I was going to say in a long way of saying it. Anyways, please produce any and all tangible and intangible evidence regarding attempted shooting of Tammy and or paintball gunshots. Any interviews, reports, records, notes, videos, or the like of any persons of knowledge regarding this alleged quote-unquote shooting incident. Record of interview of older quote-unquote gentleman referenced in interview. Record of interview with quote-unquote Joe, who was chopping wood across the street at the time of alleged shooting. Would that be her son-in-law? I mean, that's interesting, right? Record of interview of older. Well, he's not older, but anyways. Okay, number 7, regarding Kathy Brown, 6/10 of 20. Interviewed, produced on 7/15 of 2021. Please produce prior interviews and or reports cited in interview. Please produce any and all reports, records, texts, voicemails, emails, videos, photographs regarding produced report. Identify all persons' identity involved in quote-unquote taking of said interviews. Identify all previous and post communications, yada, 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 yada. Let's see if there's anything else. Identify all previous between law enforcement and this person. Please produce the interview records and the like of January 2020 first search warrant regarding search of Mr. Daybell's property. I watched that not too long ago. Like when I first started this series, just I watched it by myself, at home. And I like really listened to it and just kind of observed without all the triggers that come associated with when that video initially came out, the kids were missing. We wanted answers. My uncle was murdered and the kids were missing, and it's just like, what? And then Chad and Lori are on a run. They're in freaking Hawaii. I don't even know if we knew that yet. Let's see what date that was again. It just says January 2020. But it says interview with quote Jeff Brown. So Kathy and Jeff Brown. References quote unquote ERT investigation. Emergency retrieval team? What is the ERT? Let me light a cigarette. Please produce all associated with this quote unquote ERT. All records. So is the FBI. The FBI was there for sure. I want to go to that interview, but I also want to kind of read the rest of this we'll go in a little bit. All records, text messages, and the like regarding persons of quote unquote paintball activity in the area. She references a text message she gave to law enforcement. Interview cuts off midstream at 7:01 after discussion of text message of kid in area with paintball gun. Okay, I remember that now in the trial. They did talk about it. I want to say a kid on the spectrum or something. Anyways, number 8, regarding Matt and Heather Daybell, 6/11/2020, interviewed, produced on 7/15/21. Please produce prior interviews and or reports cited in interview. Let me get down to business here. Please produce any and all reports regarding produced report. Identify all persons' identity involved in quote unquote taking of said interviews. Identify all, oh my gosh, all previous and post communication statements, records, reports, notes, yada, yada, between law enforcement and this person or persons. Identify all previous to recording communications, written/verbal, between law enforcement and this person. Please produce prior interviews and or reports cited in interview. Please produce any and all reports, records, texts, voicemails, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Just give me the, let's see. Okay. Between law enforcement and Matt and or Heather Daybell. Then they want all communications, records, text, voicemails, emails, and the like between Detective Hope, which they're related by marriage, and these witnesses. Evidence by statements of Mr. Daybell. All evidence, reports, records, videos, etc., that supports the interviewer's stated theory of that, quote, unquote, they can prove, quote unquote, Chad is guilty of alleged murder of Tamara Daybell. All emails allegedly to have been sent by Mr. Chad Daybell in the possession of Mr. Daybell that was provided to law enforcement by Mr. Daybell. Please produce the records of interview of Daybell children by this interviewer on or about 6/10 of 2020. All medication, medical counseling. What the hell? That might have dropped off. Okay. Okay. Number 16. I'm just gonna, whatever order it's in is how I'm gonna read it. Regarding number 16, regarding Angela Johansson, 7/29/2020, interview produced on 7/15/21. Any and all communications between this witness and Mrs. Tamara Daybell. Number 17, regarding Shanna Miller, 7/29/20, interview produced 7/15/21. Please produce previous interview of this witness by, quote unquote, Bruce. As identified in this interview. Interview ends mid-sentence. Isn't that funny, though? Why? They do have a lot of that. Hold on, let me put my leg up. I gotta get a leg up. Okay. All exercise/attendance records from gym entitled, quote unquote, high fitness, referenced in interview for Mrs. Tamara Daybell. I remember looking on YouTube a long time ago before it was taken down, and Tammy had a YouTube channel, and I looked it up, and there was video of clogging, and I have Pinterest pins and stuff from that time. There were movies that she liked, that enough to like have a playlist and stuff of different things that she was into that were on YouTube, but they're not there anymore. Not that I know of. Let's see. All communications records and the like from the parents and or siblings of Miss Tamara Daybell. Please produce any and all records of homeopathic type medicine or treatments engaged by Mrs. Tamara Daybell. Therapist identification and records of Mrs. Tamara Daybell. Please produce any and all evidence that is supportive or contrary of the multiple witness statements of quote unquote paintball gun incident with Mrs. Tamara Daybell that would support your theory of attempted shooting of Mrs. Tamara Daybell with a lethal weapon, i.e. gun. And reviewing previous discovery production, the following is requested to be produced in working format. If you wish for my office to provide you a hard drive or to pick up this information, please advise upon receipt of this letter. Missing audio or video recordings from key interviews or event. Let me try and line that up better. Okay. Within the missing audio. Okay. Within the various police summary compilations are several interviews and interactions that do not have accompanying audio or video segments. They are listed below, grouped according to the, I'd say, provided report they appear in. Anyway, it says RPD, original report, unredacted, 3/13/2020. Bates, number 1-1402, Addendum A, page 4, bullet 30. I don't want to say all these things, but anyways. Page 37, 12/7/19. 12/7. Whoa. Okay. Melanie Gibb phone call with Ray Hermosillo. Okay. 11/26/19. Dave Hope assisting in questioning Chad Daybell at 565 Pioneer Road, Rexburg. Dave Hope interviewing Garth Daybell at Madison Junior High in Rexburg. 12/13/19. Dave Hope interviewing Joseph and Emma Murray at Central Elementary, Sugar City. 12/17/19. Ron Ball and Rick Schmidt meeting with Jason William at Springsville Police Department. Ron Ball, Ray Hermosillo, and others meeting with Matt and Heather Daybell at Rexburg PD. And please produce all Fremont County coroner and/or Fremont County reports, evidence, records, videos, notes, charts, and/or the like regarding the passing of Tamara Daybell. Please produce any and all records of payments, quote unquote, cash payments to Daybell children by Chad Daybell. Remember that? Let me finish the cigarette. Okay, please produce all statements of Daybell children regarding the timing and effectuation of the funeral of Miss Tamara Daybell. Please identify each and every burner phone, that's in quotes, telephone number, cell phone carrier, suspected / alleged owner / purchase of said phone, and any and all GPS information acquired from said phone, telephone records, and each and every communication from said burner telephone. Regarding Faye Harris, 7/29/2020, interview produced on 7/15/21. Please produce the interview in its entirety as it ends mid-sentence. Regarding John, I don't even know how to say his last name, Ochs, Ochs, 7/29/20, interviewed, produced on 7/15/21. Any and all emails / text sent by Ms. Tamara Daybell regarding relationship with Mr. Chad Daybell and or current charges. For example, an email the night before passing of Mrs. Daybell. Interesting. Who is John? OCHS. Number 13, regarding Margaret Brown, 7/29/20. I guess she might be related to Kathy and what's the other guy's name? David Brown? I forget. It's up. I read it a page or two before. Interview begins mid-sentence. Please produce in its entirety any and all other evidence of spiritual visitation of Mrs. Tamara Daybell to this witness. Okay. Regarding number 14, regarding Melanie Gordon, 7/29/20, interview produced on 7/15/21. This witness makes references to 4, quote unquote, odd gentlemen attending the memorial of Mrs. Tamara Daybell. These individuals attended without their wives, did not appear to be friends of family, per witness. Please identify these individuals and produce any and all evidence of these individuals. Interview, again, ends mid-sentence. Please produce this in its entirety. Interesting, right? Four dudes you don't even know. Regarding Stephanie Peralta, 7/29/20 is the interview. It was produced on 7/15/21. Interview appears to end mid-sentence with a question for witness. Please produce in its entirety. Please produce data, log files, exercise files, step records, and the like from Mrs. Tamara Daybell's Fitbit watch program and or device similar used by Mrs. Tamara Daybell, as well as any medical records, physical exams at least 2 years prior to her passing. List of all medical providers from date of relocation to Sugar / Rexburg, Idaho from Springville, Utah. Please produce any and all records, notes, communications, and the like involving persons of knowledge. Witness Julie Rowe. Julie Rowe. Oh, it must pick up there. I don't know how this goes. Psychological depression records of Mrs. Tamara Daybell at least 2 years prior to death. Identify all medical professional treating professionals for Mrs. Tamara Daybell. Previous interview records, reports, videos, text, emails, etc. with a quote-unquote detective with Heather Daybell. All communications between Detective Hope, Rexburg PD, and his statements and records of statement to Daybell, including but not limited to, quote-unquote, protecting them Daybells, unquote. Detective Ball's interview and records with, quote-unquote, Samantha. All communications between Detective Dave Hope and Matthew and Heather Daybell, as stated in interview. Again, interview cut off mid-sentence. Please provide interview in its entirety. I'm taking that breath. Let me take a sip. Number 9, regarding Ryan Bradshaw, Jody Whitney Aspen, 6/11/20. Interview produced 7/15/21. Please produce prior interviews and or reports cited in interview. Please produce any and all reports, records, text, voicemails, emails, videos, photographs, etc. regarding produced report. Identify all persons, identity involving in quote-unquote taking of said interviews. Identify all the previous and post communication statements and yada, yada, yada. With these witnesses to this interview in these forms between law enforcement and this person. Identify all previous to recording communications written/verbal, between law enforcement and this person. Interview starts and ends mid-sentence. A second interview for 1.45 minutes is, as previous interview, started and ends mid-sentence. Please produce it in its entirety and or explain why portions of interview are missing and / not produced. Number 10, regarding Jack and Sheila Daybell, 6/16/2020. Interview produced 7/15/21. And he wants all this. Same thing. Please produce all statements, nonverbal, verbal, all in that format, recorded, and or the like, i.e. jailhouse recordings, and that was in parentheses, etc. of Chad Daybell regarding, but not limited to, spelled wrong, the death of Tamara Daybell prior to arrest, and or post-arrest of Mr. Chad Daybell. Interview ends mid-sentence. Please produce in its entirety. Please produce all unauthorized, non-disclosed recordings, notes, records, photographs. Okay, yada, yada, yada. Please produce all statements to persons of interest and or witnesses by Rexburg Police, Fremont, Madison County, Idaho Attorney General, and or any other investigative authority expressing their opinions, facts, disparaging comments, allegations regarding the defendants. Holy crap. I'm trying to hurry. 1/8/20, Randy Reese interviewing April Raymond via phone call. 1/9/2020, Randy Reese interviewing Annie Cushing via phone call. 2/20/20, body cam footage of Lori Daybell's arrest in Princeville, Hawaii. 2/20/20, body cam footage of Rob Wood confronting Chad Daybell after Lori's arrest. 12/7/2019, Dave Hope interviewing Principal Williams at Kennedy Elementary. 3/3/2020, Rick Schmidt interviewing Matt Daybell about storage unit footage. Why would Rick Schmidt be interviewing Matt Daybell about storage unit footage? Unless he owned it, and I don't think he did. Anyways, 1/26/20, body cam of Chad and Lori being detained and questioned in separate police cars in Hawaii. I'd love to see that, or hear it, or even know about it. I don't remember any of that. RPD report 11/20/20, Bates addendum page. Okay, All right. 8/13/2020, David Stubbs interviewing Heather Daybell and Maggie Daybell, Hope. Chuck Considus interviewing Craig Huff via phone call, and this was 9/28/20. February 3rd, 21, Melanie Gibb phone call with Ray Hermosillo about quote unquote casting out spirits. 12/7/2020, Chuck Considus interviewing Mike and Nancy Jones, but that would be James, founders of quote unquote preparing a people. Would like to see that. Unredacted FBI records, addendum, page 4, bullet 33. That's, I guess that, I don't know. It just says 12-2019. Seth Bernard of 565 Pioneer Road, number 176, mentions in an interview that he and his wife, Leah, had previously been interviewed by David Stubbs. Addendum D, bullet 5, yada, yada. Okay. 7/28/20, Matt and Regan Price interview about fires in Daybell's field. KJ. State's AG interview on 7/29/20 with Shanna Miller at Central Elementary. Shanna Miller mentions being previously interviewed by Fremont County Detective Bruce Mattingly. There's no record of that interview or any others he any have conducted with school employees. Preliminary hearing transcript August 2nd and 3rd of 2020, which is what we've been dipping into when I don't divert into these kind of things. But hey, I think this is kind of important. Okay. Page 250, Melanie Gibb testifies she met with Rob Wood and other officers on Saturday, August 1st, 2020, in Wood's office before the preliminary hearing. Please provide detailed conversation notes, records, presence of persons at this conversation. Melanie Gibb talked to FBI, quote unquote, 2 or 3 times in early 2020. Please provide no reports given. 6/9/2020, Dave Hope stood nearby using a body cam pointed at Chad Daybell and Emma Murray as they talked while Chad was handcuffed in a police car. That's whenever Ray Hermosillo testifies, about Chad being across the street but looking over his right shoulder, right? Yeah. So where is that body cam? 2/18/21. I don't know why they have asterisk on them. Anyways. 2/18/21. Garth Daybell was detained and questioned for a half hour in his classroom at Madison Junior High by Vincent Kiakamai. Oh my God, if I would have saw it, Kiakamanu and Ricky Wright. Video report, notes, etc. 5/17/21, Garth Daybell was detained and questioned at Rexburg PD for 6 hours, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. by Ron Ball, Vincent Kayakamanu, Hermosillo, and Mattingly. His wife, Kara, was also detained and not allowed to leave. Video, report, notes, etc. Okay. Bates discovery items with missing information, records addendum. And so they put Adam Cox interview summary is there, but video is missing. Zachary Cox interview summary is there, but video is missing. And then these things right here, RPD photos files won't open. Quote, PDF is corrupted. Okay, photos of storage unit, content, PDF is corrupted. That's not good. 565 Pioneer Road, number 107, search warrant photos, corrupted. Kauai search warrant photos of property seized. PDF is corrupted. Jeep Wrangler search warrant photos. A41 corrupted. 6/10/2020 Rexburg PD drone images of Daybell property by C217 whatever. Dave Hope won't open. Well, maybe it's his, but it won't open. FBI photos of Daybell fire pit have a written log, but the actual photo not included. There's audio issues, files not working properly or not provided. And so they have Angeline Law, 9/15/20. Interview contains Natalie McGee, audio instead. I wonder if that's Natalie's maiden name, Natalie Pulowski. Anyways, or maybe Natalie and Tammy, since this next one's name is G or G, and the spelling is horrible. And anyways, blah, blah, it's hard to follow. Tammy Gee interview doesn't work. No transcript provided. Craig Huff, 9/9/20. Interview by Ball and Wood doesn't have a transcript. Well, freaking write one. Number 24, Melanie Gibbs, 6/3/20 interview is labeled 6/4/20 and is only 20 minutes long. Missing first section. If you have questions, contact his office, yada, 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 Mark means. So, 7/15/21 from Mark to Lindsay Blake. Hope you're doing well. Included in this package is the hard drive from your office, received on or about 7/15/21. This hard drive has, quote unquote, failed in some way. It will not register on my desktop or laptops. I can provide a new hard drive if you would like, but given the previous discussion/correspondence, your office seems to want to provide its own hard drive. I am, quote unquote, okay. Either way, I just need to know ASAP. Please let me know if you can provide another hard drive of the Discovery for 7/15/21, or if would like me to provide a new hard drive. Thanks, Mark. Wow. Yeah. Anywho, it's just disgusting. Oh, that's for Gordon Bowen. That's from President Ballard there. Russ Ballard, right? Anyways. That picture, he looks so different, right? Like he looks possessed. Yeah. Now I just, yeah, there's my justice through understanding. Anyways, skipped around. Yeah, I just kind of do. I work randomly, right? Ugh. Oh, there you go. Guilty of love. Yeah. I was working on some backgrounds. There's the ball and chain. Alex, and this is the day that Lori and Chad met. She was like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Lover." And his dad bod, right? I like this. Okay, I'm gonna share this with y'all while we're right here. You watched The Hunger Games and sided with the resistance. You watched Divergent and sided with the resistance. When it's fiction, you understand. Yet you refuse to see. Yet you refuse. Oh my God. Yet you refuse to see it when it's the reality you're living in. Wild, right? Oh. This was in ex-Mormon Reddit. Hey, Tom, you now claim your critics are tying, quote unquote, the horrific, illegal actions of a few unbalanced people, unquote, to you and your book, Visions of Glory. Was Jodi Hildebrandt, quote unquote, unbalanced before or after you sat down with her and endorsed her views in 2019? Bam. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, that's just me working on some slides for Gordon Bowen. Anyways, all right, let me get back over there and get back on. Hey, right. So sorry. I just wanted, but I mean, there's a lot of information in there, right? I think so. What do y'all think? Yeah, I know. But it's very telling too, huh, TC? It really is telling because she couldn't hold it in. It's like, there's got to be so much pumping through your mind Like, oh my God, am I going to get away with this? Am I getting away with this? I don't even, are they buying it? How much was Lori even there? How, did she actually shoot my uncle too? We won't know that because everybody's dead. And there was no gun residue taken, not that I'm aware of, in Arizona. So, yeah. You're welcome, KJ. Thank you. So now you can get to go put all that together. And then, we get to hear I don't know what's going on with my hair, y'all. Right? You ever just, yeah. Anyways. Hi neighbors. Sorry neighbors. Whatever she says. Yeah. That's funny. Hey neighbors. Yeah. I wonder if Chad ever sees side-by-side pics of Tammy's beautiful smiling face next to Lori's ugly freak mugshot and wondered to himself, what the did I do? Amen. I know that, like, there's this one creator. I have hair in my shirt. I'm sorry. I have some issues, obviously. But there's this one creator, and I do appreciate everybody who is a creator who attributes any kind of time to covering the case, to covering my family. It's, no matter how influential, how big or small the channel is, it just says something about the person, especially when they're just not reciting a story just for clicks and views, when they're actually engaged in telling the story of them. It just means a whole lot more. And one of those people being John Crimes. He does more like documentary style videos. And there was one that he did a couple, he covered the case too. And anyway, it's just a real good guy. I think he's from Atlanta, I think. But so y'all go check him out if you can. But he had talked about how Chad Daybell, I bet he sure was missing Tammy's it was Thanksgiving time. The kids had just been found that June. So here we are, in Thanksgiving time in 2020. And he's like, he sure is missing her Thanksgiving meal. And I mean, I don't know, just the way he told it, it just hits home, and you're just like, I wonder. And you hope, I hope. That's all I can do. I mean, they are who they are. They allegedly did what they did. I got to say that in Chad's case. And they got to live with what they got to live with. That's between them and themselves, obviously, not so much God. But anyways, that's something that's called consequences. And here you are. And I mean, I know, and that it was not at all worth it. Whether or not they ever come to terms with that, that's a whole nother story. That's where I hope, but that's me projecting how I react to the world around me. Like I'm an empathetic person, and I can kind of visualize things or picture myself there, or I'll never understand it, depending on whatever we're talking about, but to a degree, you kind of get it, you can kind of put yourself in their shoes, so to speak, and you can kind of imagine what that would be like. So, but they, in my opinion, lack empathy, and they're very flat and just psychopathic-ish. So I don't know. I don't know the difference between sociopath and psychopath, and I'm not a doctor. But narcissism, I see it all. I identify that. I'm just like, that for sure. If I had to, if I was professional, expert or whatever, I'd be like, oh yeah, label. There you go. Diagnosis. There you go. There's a lot of things that, yes. And that's a way for them to distance themselves by dehumanizing, by calling Viola and Hillary and Garrett and Elroy it doesn't make sense. My uncle said it. It's nonsensical. She's nonsensical. And that is likely the most correct and true statement. Besides, love always wins. But yeah, but then Alex messed twice with Tammy, or missed or met. Okay, I'm gonna read it how you said it. But then Alex missed with Tammy and Brandon. Maybe he missed with Charles and made her do it. I don't know. Or I don't know. I could see her just being a boss hog and just being like, oh my God, I got to do it because you're pathetic and you're a disgrace to the family, which I love and I hate when I run across old things that I forgot about, because then I'm like, oh crap, it's just, I want to share it, but I want to sometimes put it in a more presentable, clear, kind of crop the screenshots and stuff so you can go straight to what I'm trying to show you. It's just me. But it was a news article and it was about Alex's neighbor in Queen Creek. And and it went to he talked about the fight or whatever that Lori and Alex, a knockdown drag out, so to speak. His name was Don Self. That was his name, Don, Don Self. I remember I did a background check and all kinds of things on him. In Atlanta, it was John Crimes. He's a YouTube creator that really, I mean, I dropped to my knees whenever I saw how he covered Tylee and JJ's stories. And he combined it kind of with Gannon Stout. And I mean, it just brought me to my knees because I don't know. Sometimes it hits you. Sometimes the way they tell the story, it's a different angle, of course, because everybody's perspectives are different. But they're just as important as yours, mine, as the next person, anybody who wants to participate in the chat, in the conversation, because these conversations are difficult, but yes, they need to be had because we have to get comfortable discussing these things if we ever want change. There's no other way to get to it. You can't just assume and expect for other people to just get it done for you, and anyways, so I don't know. I learned that quote or whatever, that saying about we have to get comfortable talking uncomfortable things from a family here in Louisiana. Corey was her name. She was missing, LSU student. Anyways, that didn't end well, but her uncle had shared that in a news story, a news media, video clip. It was impactful for me, Another one reminds me when I talked to Suze here for like 8 hours, I swear. I don't know how long it was, but she just sat here and I just needed to talk, evidently. And God bless you, girl, because she did that and she listened, and it was just very meaningful and it meant a lot to me, and we need to do it again because but I appreciate just these friendships that are made, and they're going to last forever. They're a lifetime, right? And these are the things that you don't expect. You don't even realize they're going on. You don't realize that there's a community of people such as yourselves who are adamant and vicious and fierce about getting justice through understanding. We learn from each other, and to me, that's just so valuable and priceless. Can't put a tag on it. Could Lori have done JJ Alex, do Tylee, and I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I never even thought about that. See what I mean? The perspectives are crazy and they're good. And then TC says, I know, I was thinking, why were they so into prepping? They only had like one prepper bag in that apartment. Okay. They were prepping, just not for that second coming. Again, code. I can't see either of them being a survival prepper person. They stayed at resorts. Y'all remember whenever Blaze Thibodeau was missing, right? And the dad, this was one of those suspicious things to me. I was just like, I don't know if I don't know if these things were really happening with Spring and her brother, or if it was kind of projected from the dad because he needed attention from the law. And so he was like, well, this, Lori Daybell happened and got the world's attention. You know what I mean? Like, use it as a tool. And I know that sounds bad. I know it does. I hate it. I hate that I even went this way, but just a lot of things that he said were just that. It was just what he said. There was no writings, no proof really, besides, I read just a little bit of Brooke Hale's letters, to his kids. And it kind of sounds like the next Mormon. They kind of don't sound any different. So what kind of got me was where he says that they're preparing, Julie Rowe, Avraham Giuliani, all these Tom Harris, all these influential doomsday, quote unquote, end time preppers. They kind of pin it on all them and dub them as the culprit, when the culprit are the people doing the things, right? So there's that. There's influence, but then, you are the owner of yourself and you have, it's called free will, and you can say yes and you can say no. You can say, you're the only person that can say yes or no. That's how that works. And whenever the dad, Ben Thibodeau, when he kept saying that they were preppers and, his daughter was buying all this and that, and even the son-in-law was saying it too. And I'm just like, okay, all right. But then when asked about it, he said something to the tune of, this is just me recalling allegedly from my horrible memory. But he was like, when questioned about, why would you be buying all the prepper things if you're going to fly to the destination and then drive to Alaska? Why? That doesn't add up to me. The other thing was that the dad even contradicted himself in a way, because he said that they really weren't into camping and stuff. And I'm like, okay, isn't that what a freaking prepper is all about? Studying and knowing, and aren't you going prepared? It doesn't add up. It's just weird. So I just didn't know if it was like a tool, a method that the dad used, like, because it caught some attention. If anything, we at least got to see how Arizona reacted. Whatever the reasons, whatever the purpose, Blaze is the victim in this story. In that story, but we got to see the change, in my opinion. I got to see the change in how Arizona responded. Okay. To me, change is the best apology, not to the victims, and to a degree, it's just nice to see there's some change from all the tragedy, all the horrible things that happened to Tylee, Trolls, Tammy, and JJ, and even Joe. But by God, there should be some changes with all the death and destruction that, originated right there. I say originated, but y'all know what I'm saying. I wonder if it's against their religion, and only when it's convenient. Chad and Lori, that was the whole freaking point of this. Was I hope I'm waiting. I'm the first one. I have popcorn. I'll be ready with my popcorn, and we'll have a popcorn party, because that was the whole thing about why they had to murder Tammy and Charles. And it wasn't really so much Lori. It was more and this is, I want to say, is according to Melanie Gibbs. So we're just taking Melanie Gibbs' word for it as to what she felt like, whatever was important to the narrative of the story. So it's with her bias and whomever was writing the things for her to say, in my opinion. But so her version, Melanie Gibbs' version, is that Chad couldn't be divorced because of his religion, because his exaltation status. Okay, well, but you can murder. So we got some splaining to do, because it's some backward shit. And that's the stuff I'm talking about, because that's what you see in Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie. Pain equals love. Chad turning up the pain on the children. Can't get divorced, but you can murder, obviously. But it all comes down to the technicalities and the letter of the law, and which law they feel like loopholing and finding loopholes in. That they're good at that. Very good at loopholes. I didn't technically lie. I technically, if it was like KJ said earlier, forget how you worded it, and I suck at quoting. Spring's husband canceled divorce. There you go. Wow. Was it just to get them in trouble? Was it like a custody thing? I mean, I went, and y'all, and it's like a 3-hour video. And I mean, I felt horrible for how I responded, but it just like, I don't know. I mean, you're going through the interviews, the statements, and you're just like, okay, well, you said this here, but then right here, not so much, It just, and it was all he said. Everything was what he said. Okay, well, I can say all kinds of things about anybody else. It doesn't mean that they're true. That's just one side of the story. So, yeah, I know. I think so too. Yeah. Oh, hell, girl. You gonna end up pregnant? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. Girl, you better stay warm. Like, what kind of idiot thinks of these things? Totally lost my mind. No discernment. None. Yeah, we're right. Hello. That's common damn sense. Okay. And winter stuff at that, because you're going to freaking Alaska. Okay. So if you're going to Alaska, stuff's going to be really bulky, really heavy. Trust me, I went to Boise and I pack a lot. It sucks. But I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's like one of those things where you either have to really think it out. Some of these things, they're not really thought out before applying them to the public. Once you apply them to the public, here we are doing what we do. And it's not poking holes in it. It's just like using your critical thinking. There's nothing wrong with that, period. There's something wrong with people who just go with it and don't question things. That, to me, that's scary. I'm like, I mean, I've done it a time or two. I'm sure I'm not done doing that, but just, they all work together. Your gut, your mind, all the systems, they work together. I'm not saying trust your gut wholeheartedly. Don't trust your feelings wholeheartedly. Don't trust what you see wholeheartedly, but they all work together. And one, they tell you in little ways. If something doesn't feel right and you're questioning it, and you're just like, step away from the project, Crush it. In my original post, they didn't pack for Alaska because they didn't plan on being alive long. Oh, okay. Now I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So see, there's that. It's very interesting. I already watched it. I watched it. That's the first if it's talking polygamy, is that the name of this place? Or I mean the show? I'm talking about Urvilla Baron. I watched that whole damn series because that's the first you hear cult and stuff, and then it's the first thing I ran across, the news article. I shared it when I was in Boise, the actual news article that I read when they said Mormon Manson. I was like, oh my God. And anyway, so whenever this one came out on Hulu, like we did it to where, because I canceled it a long time ago. Some things are just adding up and I can't freaking afford them. Just saying. You got to trim the fat, so to speak. Oh, you didn't see the glasses? I don't see them, so I don't even know where to see them. Where are they? Where are they at, Donna? Do you have to have glasses to see the glasses? Just kidding. Why die cold? What kind of crap is that? Right?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You'll be able to see the little glasses and the tool when you watch the replay in the chat. But
Okay.
they're so tiny, you need a loop to see.
Oh, well, hey, but now that's how we learn, right? It's just by
Yes.
trial and error. Literally trial and error. That's the only way I learn. But I just appreciate the fact that you did it. And so now we just fine tune it. And so I'm going to ask everybody, what kind of emojis would you like to see? Y'all have any ideas that we can use for channel membership emojis? Let us know. And we'll put our heads together. She's the designer though. This is what she does. I like to do it, but I just don't ever know what size. I'm like, I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. I was going to go ahead and like go into the more of the preliminary hearing, but we have Thursday. We'll just go straight into it. I won't do any too much side stuff, But again, oh, okay. Love always wins. That would be good too. Yeah. Yeah. Let us know. Audrey Barretero. I know. I know. I told my mom that. I'm like, y'all, because everybody, as soon as, it's like people can play other people, especially, mom doesn't really do any digging into the background. As she can't. And I understand that. I respect that. So it's just mom doesn't really know all that kind of stuff. She doesn't know about what Summer said. She doesn't know about the, either poison emoji or death emoji, whatever you want to call it. But people are manipulators. That when we're born babies, they learn to manipulate their parents at just 2 weeks old. They know that if they cry this way or that way, they get changed, they get attention, they get fed, things like that. I thought that was really, really interesting when I took my psychology class 101 or whatever in college. But anyways, well, I'm ready to just go chill and watch some TV or something. KJ, and I'll text those papers to you. And I don't know if that was the series you were talking about. If it was a LeBaron clan, Daughters something. I forget the damn name of it. Hey,
Precious,
Shima.
send the paperwork to me too.
Okay.
Because I'm okay.
I guess it's not in order or anything, but it's, PDF form or screenshot form. I'll send it to y'all. But all right, well, we'll end on that note and we'll start again Thursday. Justice for I just saw this. Can we make an emoji of your uncle saying they got the bitch? Of course. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins, and you guys are proof of this. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit like.